so today I am making a vegan charcoal Hokkaido milk bread. So basically what this Japanese milk bread is, it's a little bit like brioche. It is a fortified dough, fortified with eggs and milk. We will find a way around that. And basically what the milk and the eggs allow the dough to do is to become a lot more soft and a lot more rich. And it is amazing to eat. Only today's spin is that I will be adding activated charcoal to it. Now if you guys saw my charcoal ice cream video, you'll know what that is. I will put that link down below, but it is definitely a crowd pleaser. So I can't wait to show you guys this recipe. So let's head over to the kitchen and then let's get started. Alrighty guys, so what makes the Hokkaido milk bread dough unique is this starter roux that it starts off with. So we're going to be mixing about 3 tablespoons of flour along with a half a cup of water over medium-high heat for 3 to 4 minutes just until the roux thickens up. And by cooking part of the dough like this, it kind of disrupts the gluten formation, so it'll result in a softer dough. So after you're done with that, just put it aside and let it cool. So now we're going to work with the dough. I have a 1/4 cup of sugar already in the pot and a 1/4 cup of warm coconut milk along with 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, and you just want to mix that together, push that aside for about 5 minutes until the yeast starts developing. Meanwhile, you want to prepare the rest of the dry mixture. So I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour along with a teaspoon of salt, and then this is charcoal powder. So this is what I use for the charcoal ice cream show that we also did, and it is a powder that's as black as night, 2 to 3 tablespoons, and it makes everything nice and dark. You want to mix that around in the flour so that you don't get like lumps of really, dark spots and then light spots. It'll be easier later. So next is what I do for an egg substitute. So I have 2 tablespoons of water, some baking powder, and then a little bit of oil. The recipe is going to be down below, but this is what I typically use when a baking recipe calls for an egg, okay? So this is what's happened to the yeast right now. You can see that it's bubbled up, signaling that the yeast is nice and active. So I'm just going to add that egg substitute in right now, and then this is going to be my roux mixture that I had earlier. It's kind of firmed up a little bit, but as we mix it, it will start kind of dissolving and softening up. So I have all of this on a dough hook right now on low to medium speed just until everything is nice and mixed. It won't look completely homogenized because we're dealing with so many different textures, but kind of just do your best. So I'm going to put in another 1/4 cup of coconut milk, and all of that fat is just going to really help make this bread nice and soft and rich as well. So you can see that's the mixture right now. So I'm going to pour in my charcoal mixture. So all of that goes in. It kind of swooshes around everywhere, so kind of be careful about that. You might have to do a little bit of cleaning. So on the dough hook, you want to keep it on low first just until everything is mixed, and then move it up to about medium speed, and then mix that around for about 10 minutes on medium speed just so that the dough has time to develop its gluten. So after about 10 minutes, the dough will look something like this. So it's nice and it has released from the sides, but kind of when you stretch it, it stretches, but it still kind of breaks apart. So that's when you know that there's still some kneading to be done so that the dough gets nice and stretchy and the gluten has time to develop. So you want to kind of put that on medium speed again. And then this is just some earth balance, which adds a really nice buttery flavor to the bread. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that, about 2 tablespoons, and I'm just going to slowly add it in, and once the dough has time to incorporate, I'm just going to be adding a little bit more. Eventually, I want to knead this guy for an additional about 10 minutes, okay? You can see that initially the butter doesn't really take in, but eventually the dough starts kind of releasing from the sides again, and you're going to get a much kind of stretchier texture after the 10 minutes. So totally about 20 minutes of kneading goes in. So I'm just going to put this onto a floured surface, and then I'm just going to turn this into a ball before I have it rest for about 40 minutes. So just kind of rolling the dough onto itself. So this guy's gonna go back into the pan, and I kind of oiled it a little bit so that it's easier to release later. You're gonna put it into a warm place for about 40 minutes to an hour until it has almost about doubled in size. So this is how it looks. It's nice and airy and soft at this point. So once again, I greased it before, so it's really easy for it to come out. And I'm just gonna use a dough cutter and cut this into 4 equal parts. And this is kind of where the fun starts. So I think I've showed this technique before. I'm just going to turn these into 4 balls. So I'm going to kind of fold it into itself so that it forms a ball, and then afterwards, using the palms of my hands, I'm just going to roll this into a nice ball. So I'm going to just do that for all 4. So afterwards, because you work this dough up, it kind of works the gluten as well, and it's not as easy to handle. So you want to put a cloth on it and then just let it rest for about 15 minutes so that it will be a lot easier to roll afterwards. So just a little bit of flour again, and then you just want to roll this guy out into kind of like a long oval shape. So you can see what we're doing here is we're actually trying to make a rectangle. So I'm gonna fold in the sides right now, and then I'm gonna continue rolling. And I was pretty methodical with this because you do want 4 even rectangles when you roll it out, because otherwise the bread is going to look significantly different. So I measured it out. It was about 3 inches wide and kind of about 10 inches long. So afterwards I kind of just stretched it out a little bit more, made sure that the whole shape was a long rectangle before I started rolling it up like this. And this is kind of a very classical technique to the Hokkaido milk bread. Okay, so seam side down, and I already have a buttered bread pan that I buttered with earth balance, or you can do it with a little bit of coconut oil. So you just want to do the same thing to all 4. Kind of roll it up, keep the seam sides down, and then put it into the pan like that. So after your 4th one, you want these guys to proof one more time before they go into the oven, because that way they get nice and airy and big and soft before you get ready. So it's going to be another about 40 minutes to an hour, just until it's kind of, you know, again, doubled in size like that. People always say doubled. I'm not exactly sure it's doubled, but it does get a little bit bigger. So 1 hour in a warm place. So afterwards, you just want to put this guy into the oven. So 350 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. You kind of want to be checking it sometimes. So this is how it looks afterwards. It's nice and big and poofy. You don't necessarily want to be eating it yet, so what you want to do is taking a little bit more of the earth balance. You just want to butter the tops. It kind of keeps all of the moisture in and then adds a really nice shine to the bread that you wouldn't get otherwise. So kind of have this rest a little bit. If you really like it, you can definitely eat it while it's hot, but I recommend just a little bit of cool down for a little bit. So I wanted to show you guys how soft and amazing and rich this bread was. So I'm just gonna kind of pull one apart for you. I'm kind of unwinding the dough. I don't know if this is typically how you would eat it, but if I was a kid and, you know, somebody had just made this bread for me, this would be how I would be eating it. And it's just so rich. It's a sweetened dough, so I would say like it would go really well with desserts, but sometimes I've actually seen people use it for sandwiches as well. It's kind of rich like a brioche, but it's definitely sweeter than a brioche. So here I've paired it up with a veggie burger because I also like that sweet and savory combination, but this bread is amazing as like a morning pastry if you want kind of something sweet, or you can make like French toast out of it. You can put some like chocolate hazelnut spread on top of it and it would just be amazing. Anyways guys, as usual, I hope you enjoyed watching this recipe. It was so fun to make. If you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!